If you don't have an accent, don't even try to speak. You need to get good grades to speak English. If you make a mistake, I don't think it's for you. It's not true. But let me help you. Hi. This video is gonna be kind of different. I don't feel like it's gonna be content that I want to make here. As a non-native speaker and a person who used to actually hate speaking English and even learning it, I feel like I know something about language barriers. I actually do. By making this video, I want to help you guys to make the communication in a foreign language much easier and less stressful, because I know how hard it is. So I've been learning English since I was 6, which means it's been 12 years. No, it's actually been 13 years. I am getting old. If it comes to me actually speaking English to the point where I am not afraid of it anymore, it's been maybe 3 years. You can see how big difference it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, you can hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you don't, that's fine. I totally get it. Right now we can start with the video. The causes of language barriers. First, educational system. I don't know how about other countries, but in Poland, learning English mostly looks like you're learning words and grammar by heart to get good grades, to just pass it. Then teachers don't really use English, but it depends. Not every teacher makes his lesson like this. I had teachers who use English only to check the tasks that we had to do, but also I had teachers who make the whole lesson in English, which is so cool because you're learning much more from this lesson. And I am not talking about explaining the grammar rules in your native language or something. How can students feel comfortable then when it comes to speaking if they don't have an example of pronunciation, and also they don't have an example of using the language in practice in a place where they are actually supposed to learn it? And the last thing about educational system is a small amount of speaking. You can have good grades, right? And you can know the whole theoretical part of grammar and stuff, but as long as you don't practice it, it's not gonna give you anything, because if you want to communicate, you need to say something. And when it comes to speaking, it gives you a lot of stress and even anxiety. As long as we feel like this, we usually want to just avoid doing that. And again, we are not speaking, and that problem is getting even bigger. 2. I know how to write it, but not how to pronounce it. Kind of familiar to point number 1. If you're getting good grades, passing your exams, and you do everything right in the writing part, you know how to write the words that you need to write down, that's great for you. But you don't know how to pronounce them. I am talking here about pronunciation, not an accent. A flight. Something that I really recommend here is learning IPA. It is going to help you with pronunciation, and also you will be able to correctly pronounce the words that you see for the first time in your life. At first, those letters might seem so weird, but those are not really letters, those are written down sounds. So this is the reason why it looks so weird. I believe you know what I'm talking about. Next to each word in dictionary, there is this phonetic spelling, and that is actually it. 3. The fear of making mistakes, pointing them out by someone, and not being understood. To be honest, sometimes I still struggle with it. It is hard to overcome it in 100%, but you need to remember that as long as you try, as long as you speak, you're getting better. Your language, your pronunciation is getting better. Making mistakes in foreign language is such a normal thing. You have no idea how much mistakes we make in our native languages. I've heard not once that I don't know how to speak Polish, even though I live in Poland since I was born. I speak Polish every single day. I still make mistakes. I don't speak it correctly, and that's fine. So if I make mistakes in Polish, in my first language, making mistakes in English is okay, is normal. The problem that I've observed is that natives don't really give a fuck if you speak correctly or not. As long as they understand you, that's great. But somehow I have this weird feeling, and actually I know it from my own experience, that non-native speakers really care way too much and point everything out. And it's sadly not in a way, oh, you made a mistake, let me show you how you should say that or something. It's mostly in a way, you made a mistake, just if you don't know how to speak it, just shut up. I don't know, I just feel that way. Maybe you have a different experience, good for you. But if you're still being afraid of being judged by a native, I would prefer to look in this way. So someone comes to your country and tries to speak your language, your native language, and doesn't sound like a native, doesn't have the most correct pronunciation, but you understand what this person is saying, even if you understand it from the context of the conversation, you're not laughing at this person, right? I assume that you're thinking, oh, that is so great that this person tries her best. And that's the point. For social desperation of having an accent, something that I hate the most, I do not understand the point of it. When I see how someone can bully others for not having an accent, for not having one of those popular accents, I mean American, British, Aussie one, what the fuck? It just blows my mind. I want to say that accent doesn't really matter, and it's okay to don't have it. Not having any of those popular accents is completely natural. Instead of it, at first I would rather focus on pronunciation because it's gonna help you much more to be understood, and also with communication. Every language has a different sounds, and for example, for me at the beginning it was so unnatural to say r, because in Polish I say r. It's like a hard version of r, and I didn't know how to say r. But it wasn't that bad because after some time I've learned how to say it, right? But then there was a problem with the sound, and it took me so long to learn it, but somehow everyone still understood me. Because, for example, when I wanted to say a thought, I was saying a thought or a thought. Your tongue works different when you speak Polish, Spanish, Norwegian, English. We have different sounds. I'm not gonna lie, it might take you some time, but also something really important to say here is that there is actually a low chance to speak like a native speaker in 100%. 5. Avoiding a chance to speak. The thing is, as long as you don't try, you won't achieve anything. You need to try, you need to do something to achieve something, and that's a normal thing. If you're still asking your friend to say something for you, you're not even trying, you already know that it's not gonna give you anything. If you just expect a change without doing anything towards it, and you still waiting for this moment when you wake up and you magically will speak readily, it's not gonna happen. I'm so sorry, but it is not gonna happen. But if you wanna wake up one day with the thought that, oh, I've been working on it for so long and I know how to speak, I am here to give you some advices. I'm gonna start with the most important one. Stop thinking. As long as you think, you're gonna overthink, and thinking is killing you. Don't think about which grammar tense should you use. Talk the way you feel. I have no idea about all of those tenses. I cannot remember all of those names, and I don't give a shit, because as long as I know what to say and everyone understands me, that's the point. I make a bunch of mistakes, but you watching it, and I guess you still understand what I'm talking about. Your main goal is to communicate, to know how to speak. Watch YouTube and Netflix in English. In school, you're learning a specific, correct, and grammatical way language, but in reality no one uses. I mean, you can use it, but like no one actually speaks this way. If you want to learn how to communicate, this is gonna help you a lot. I've been watching YouTube in English since I was 13, 14. At the beginning it was Jake Paul, but I had no idea what he was talking about. After some time, it just happened, I started understanding much and much more, but still I wasn't feeling like, oh, I know how to speak. I started learning a lot of new words, phrases, collocations. The grammar tenses started to be easier because I could see in which circumstances and when he's using it. So at the same time, I knew that if you're doing this, you need to say this. Also, when you watch YouTube videos or Netflix movies, whatever, if you do something in English and you listen to this language, you're learning the pronunciation, you're even catching an accent. You can educate yourself about anything. You can also watch what people do in their life every single day, and it's gonna teach you a lot of new words that are being used on a daily basis. You can watch absolutely anything you want, anyone you want, and at the same time gain knowledge. And this is something what I really love about it, is that you can watch anything and you're still learning. After some time of doing it, you're gonna speak up, even to yourself, even to your mirror. At the beginning, I was talking to every random thing. I was commenting what I'm doing right now. I was even pretending that I'm a YouTuber, and it was such a great thing because right now I can speak. When I'm talking to someone and I'm saying I know English from YouTube, they're being like, how the fuck you know this from YouTube? And this point is not only about YouTube or Netflix. You can use any other platform. Just surround yourself with language. Speak, speak, speak. As long as you're speaking, you're gaining experience, you're practicing your language. So we'll keep moving, right? And if you have a friend that you can talk to, you can trust to, speak to that friend only in English. And then if he doesn't understand what you're talking about, try to explain it using other words. But if it still doesn't work, that's okay. Say that in your native language and then still keep talking in English. But if you don't have a friend, remember that we live in 21st century. There's still this thing called Omegle. I know it sounds weird, but there is still some people that you can talk to, maybe not trust too much. You can practice small talk, that is also really important. Remember that if you feel uncomfortable, there's this option skip, and you can skip someone and probably never ever meet this person again. Travel. If you have this opportunity, just travel as much as you can. Traveling is a great lesson because you probably don't know anyone around you. Don't ask your mom, your sister, your friend to say something for you. This is your time to shine, and this is your time to say something after a long time of practicing. Take a lesson out of mistakes. If someone tells you what would be a better version of saying something, what would be a better way of doing it, just try to improve it. For example, 2 years ago, I had this situation when I was talking to my uncle, and he's from America, and I told him once I end the school, and he was like, no, Kalina, just say once I graduate. And since then, I know that I should say graduating school, not ending school. Take a lesson out of your mistakes and then forget about the situation. Don't feel guilty about it because, it's another lesson. You should be grateful for it, and it's okay. Don't give up and keep moving. It's not even about talking, about communication. It's about your life. Remember that there will always be someone who's gonna talk shit about you, no matter what you're doing. You can do something great, you can do something bad. There always will be someone who's gonna tell you, just give up, you're not doing it right, or even a worse version of it. As long as you're doing it, as long as it makes you happy, just keep moving and don't stop. But when it comes to communication, to speaking, please remember that it's not a big deal to know how, where, and when to use the words. A big deal is to actually use them. that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I helped you guys. I get my fingers crossed. I do believe that as long as you work for something, you're gonna achieve it. See you in another video. Bye. You should have